My name is Professor Robert Schmitzenhausen. It has been, the date is August 14th, 2010. It has been nearly 2 years since we caught the Horaffe back in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. And we are here at the River's Edge Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. We have been breeding the Horaffe in natural captivity for 2 years now. It's been doing really well. It's showing minimal signs of aggression, which is great. It's also stopped producing eggs. But that might be okay. We only need one of those in this world. We think it's doing all right, and we do believe that it is succeeding here in this Natural Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. It does seem to have a fascination with small birds. Eating
Professor,
them in particular.
the Horse of Saint!
My name is Robert Schmitzenhausen. The Horaffe escaped. I'm a little nervous about it. We need to go find it. Many have been left for dead. There are dead people literally everywhere. Everywhere we look, there's dead people from the Horaffe. It's still showing minimal signs of aggression, but we need to go find it. This is much worse than I thought. I was going to get a team together to go find the Horaffe, but they're all dead. So it's just me. I'm out here at the Wildlife Center looking for the Horaffe. A little bit nervous about it. It might kill me. Tracks. It's a good start. We found some tracks. We see tracks all along. One thing about the Horaffe is it does tend to be mentally handicapped without being able to walk in a straight line. We do see it wandering off here, and then over here. Right here it appears it does a little circle and keeps going. It must be this way. We're following the Horaffe tracks. They just stopped randomly. I didn't know the Horaffe could fly. Maybe it's a new technique it's developed. We're going to keep looking for it. This is our wonderful Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. We do see that horses are kept this way, but the fort is kept that way. Horaffe. That might be a clue. I don't really know. We're going to have to follow one of these directions. I don't know. So we followed the way of the fort, the aft part as it were. I did manage to find someone who was not dead. Her name is Patricia Labonzo. She is the head research of Horaffe culture and lifestyle, its ethics per se. Patricia, just a few questions.
Yes, Professor.
What would have caused this Horaffe to go on a mad rampage?
Well, because it does not produce eggs anymore, it got angry.
It got angry because it doesn't produce eggs. Of course. So, Professor, because it got angry... What's that sound? That sound over there, it must be the Horaffe. Is that the sound of the Horaffe?
It is its mating call.
It's mating call, but it doesn't have eggs. Why would it mate if it doesn't have eggs?
It is mentally handicapped.
Do they actually mate for pleasure?
Possibly. We have not determined this yet.
Interesting. Professor, we did notice that the tracks randomly stopped. Is it possible that it evolved into a flying creature?
Well, it is possible, but the only way to do that is by mating. And there are no flying creatures in the wild.
Oh my, this just gets more confusing. Well, thank you, Professor. This has been most helpful. Well, we're continuing to follow where we think the Horaffe might have gone. The tracks did stop, as we all know. We're going deep into the forest. There is a fallen tree, which is typical of aggressive mating Horaffe tendencies, which is interesting because we thought the Horaffe wasn't aggressive. I feel like our research might have been faulty. I do have Patricia with me here. She has her stick for protection. Horaffes are terrified of sticks, hence the fallen tree. Over here, we did find, however, a large deposit of Horaffe urine. We can see that it's it smells fresh. It tastes pretty fresh. They have very pungent urine. So that's interesting for sure. The blood seems to have gotten lessened. Perhaps it's drying up. The Horaffe hasn't shown any signs of being injured, which sucks for us because that would make it easier to catch. There's no sign of the Horaffe yet. We're trying to be very discreet in how we move around so that the Horaffe doesn't notice us. their movement, no, their eyesight is actually hindered by movement, meaning it gets worse if you keep moving. So if you camouflage yourselves like this, perhaps, it can't see you. I just ripped a massive hole in my pants. That's not good either. The Horaffe will smell that from a mile away. We have to go change, or else the Horaffe is going to notice us and kill us. And you don't want to die with a massive hole in your crotch. Let's go check. So we've taken off the sweatpants, which I ripped a hole in. We're going to just leave it here. The Horaffe is distracted by that. This way, when it follows the scent of my ripped crotch, it'll go towards the pants, and I have the freedom to go and actually change. Well, we're on our way back to my cabin so I can actually change and put on proper pants. Over here, we see habitat for somebody, I don't know who. Probably they're dead. More fallen trees everywhere. There it is, the Horaffe. It's distracted by feeding right now. It does feed on foliage as well as human flesh. It doesn't seem to notice me, interestingly enough. Perhaps if we be really quiet, it won't harm us. Go away, Horaffe! Leave! It's running away. Let's follow it. How interesting. It lopes so awkwardly. It'll turn in a random circle eventually, just to keep going. Like, the circles come out of nowhere. We're following the Horaffe. I can't find it anywhere. It seems to have disappeared. What's that? There's a deer. Is it possible? No, the Horaffe can't move into a deer. Change into a deer, rather. But it has to be. That's a deer. It just happened. Maybe if we chase... Oh, interesting. Maybe if we... Can we try to get closer? Interesting. One thing about deers is they're very sensitive, so you have to be quiet around them. Here we go. Let's chase it! It just leapt clean over that fence! Well, we are no match for that, Horaffe. Well, the deer escaped. We're not sure where it went. It disappeared out of sight. But it must have transformed back into the Horaffe, because there it is lying dead. The Horaffe is dead. I can't believe it. Like, my pride and joy, my research for 2 years. It's dead. What happened, I wonder? Maybe the transforming killed it into a deer. My